Good afternoon. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Attendance, I see and have received letters from both Councillor Alsop and Councillor Kelly. They're taking an extended leave of absence, non-paid, till after the provincial election. Having said that, the City of Belleville acknowledges we are meeting today on traditional territory. We recognize and honor the historic relationship of Indigenous peoples to this land and acknowledge our shared obligation to respect, honor, and sustain these lands and natural resources contained within. Recognize all First Nation, Métis, and Inuit who call Belleville their home and support the need for cultivating a strong relationship with them. We look forward to fostering a path towards reconciliation and show respect for the Indigenous peoples who first lived and currently live on the land where we all now reside together. I will call the meeting to order. We will remain standing for a moment of reflection.
May we be worthy custodians of all that has been entrusted to us. Help us to be concerned only with what will promote good government. May we bring to council chambers minds that think and hearts that feel, always having respect for others so that we may serve the people of our city in a helpful manner and for the good of all.
Disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Seeing none, I need a motion for the reading and confirmation of the minutes of regular council meeting of August 12th, 24, and the regular in-camera meeting of August 12th, 24. Moved by Councillor Chatton, seconded by Councillor Enright Miller. Discussion. All in favor? Carried. Deputations. Tonight, we'd like to welcome Mary Storms and Adam Rudnick, representing Friends of the West Hill Green Space. Mary and Adam, are you there? Take the podium. It's all yours.
Greetings, Mayor Ellis, City Council members, City staff, and friends of the community. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us today. My name is Adam Rupnick, and I'm a 4-year Belleville resident and fisheries biologist. I'm joined by Mary Storms, who's a 50-plus-year Belleville resident and a nurse at the Belleville Hospital. Today, we're going to talk to you today about the proposed development plans at 41 Octavia Street, or the West Hill Green Space. So we'll provide a brief introduction, timeline, and a bit of background as to how we got to where we are today, the importance of the green space to our community, and opportunities for its improvement. Finally, we'll provide a list of recommendations and requests for council to consider. So why are we here? We are here because a piece of our community that served us for over 52 years is in jeopardy. Back between 2005 and 2008, the residents of West Hill community raised substantial funds for the revitalization of the green space. They raised $126,000 for a 2-phase plan to revitalize the green space and provide playground equipment. That was approved by City Council. Since then, only phase 1 of the plan was partially completed with the erection of the playground equipment. We've gone door to door once again to get petition signatures and support for the preservation of this green space, only to find the vast majority of people had no idea about these proposed developments. And most people were less than pleased with the current plans. So today we're here to ask you to improve and preserve this actively used and well-loved part of our community. So a quick timeline, just from when the former Queen Mary School was built in 1912, all the way up to its lease to the Community Resource Centre in 2002. As mentioned previously, the community did raise substantial funds between 2006 and 2008 and was successful in petitioning the city. Phase 1 of the plan was completed in 2007, leading us to where we are today. Additional efforts were made looking toward development. However, those have kind of made their way to where we are now. So anyway, with that, I'd like to turn things over to Mary Storms for her perspective and story as a long-term resident and a healthcare professional.
Thanks, Adam. Mayor Ellis, Belleville councilors, fellow citizens of Belleville. So as Adam said, I'm Mary Storms. I've lived in Belleville for 55 years. 45 of those years have been on the West Hill. The first place my husband and I bought on the West Hill is now where the courthouse is, but we moved from there in 1988. And I've seen many changes over the years in this part of town. My 3 children grew up in the area. They attended Prince Charles School, then Sir Mackenzie Bowl, and then Centennial Secondary School. When they were growing up, I used to take them to the school, Prince Charles, to play in the schoolyard. Played on the equipment, shoot baskets, or just run around the yard. When they got a little older, they used to meet their friends there, sit on the school steps, just hang around. I'm sure you all have memories of hanging around parks or schools when you were growing up and hanging with your friends. Unfortunately, that's not doable now. The Prince Charles School is locked up tight. All the gates are locked outside of school hours, so the kids can't go there and play. So this is why having the green space at the park on Octavia is so important to the community. It's the only place in the area that families can go to safely play. Although the equipment needs to be updated, many children still come with their parents to swing, slide, and climb. And I don't have to tell parents of young children how good it is to tire out your kids before bedtime. It makes bedtime so much easier. The green space also allows families and others to sit and enjoy a picnic, visit with their friends, or just enjoy the outdoors. I know adults that enjoy sitting there just to sit and read and be surrounded by the green space. The other options for this kind of activity are either too far away, or you have to cross Dundas Street to get to Zwick's Park, and mom with 3 or 4 little kids doesn't want to be doing that. With plans for the development of housing on this site and on the former Bemblica property at the corner of Bridge and Yeoman Street, an available green space is even more important. This will bring more people to the area, including families and older adults. Children and mature adults have been found to experience the most benefit from green spaces. As a mother and nana, I know this. Okay, so now you've heard from my local resident mother side, but now I'm going to talk to you as a nurse. As I said, I work at the Belleville Hospital. There's so many health benefits from green spaces. They promote physical activity, contribute to social interaction and cohesion, increase access to healthy food. The community gardens in the West Hill Green Space right now provide a lot of fresh produce for so many families in the area. And with the price of groceries nowadays, that's a big boost for everybody. They also contribute to stress reduction and cognitive restoration. Green spaces also improve air quality, create shade, reduce outdoor air temperatures, and decrease the likelihood of flooding. When people have access to local neighborhood green spaces, birth outcomes are improved, mortality from all causes is reduced, level of obesity is reduced, the number of people with cardiovascular disease is reduced, symptoms of mental illness, including depression and anxiety, are improved. Like, who doesn't feel good when they're sitting out in nature? Self-reported feelings of stress are reduced, and social cohesion is improved. Our group is passionate about keeping this space for the enjoyment of community members for the reasons I've discussed and many others. We are excited to work with you, the city, to discuss the possibilities for this area. Thank you for your time.
They got a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all right. All right, so we'll keep going. Just to talk a bit about what's proposed. So we can see here on the left is the initial plans for the revitalization of the community green space, and on the right is the new proposed plans. So we look at the image on the left, we can see a lot of really cool ideas that were approved at the time. Accessible walking paths, benches shaded by rows of trees, nice open space for young and old to enjoy, right? This was supported by the City Council at the time, as it was called a much needed initiative to build community. I'm not sure what's changed since those plans were put in place, but we can see clearly from the new proposed plans that it no longer values things like the community gardens, the ball court, or the multi-purpose field, where people have, made memories, taught children to ride bikes, played sports, and connected as a community. So from the 563 petition signatures that we have, as well as the people here with us today, the thought of losing such a vast majority of the green space is deeply concerning. Proposed plans call for an almost 80% reduction in the green space, which is much less resources for a growing population. Let me be clear, we're not against affordable housing, and we commend the city's efforts to support the community. Our goal here today is to try and make a meaningful connection with all of you and to work together amicably to address both the need for affordable housing as well as green space, as both are vital. So we'll look at some maps. My laser pointer doesn't work, so I'm going to try and describe where the West Hill Green Space is, if you don't already know. But this is from the Parkland and Recreation Master Plan, and it shows the existing playgrounds throughout the city of Belleville, indicated by the solid orange circle. There's a 500-meter buffer around each circle that sort of shows who has easy access to those resources. The West Hill Green Space is on the lower left-hand corner of the screen. If you count 3 in from the bottom, it's just up on the left side of the river, or the west side of the river. That's the best I'm going to be able to do, but I can point it out to you after if you have questions. But you'll notice around it, there's not a lot of other playgrounds. And so the idea is that it's fairly isolated from everything else, as Mary had mentioned. And we can take this one step further by looking at the gap analysis in the same report. You can see that there's gaps indicated all around the West Hill green space there on the left side of the river. So the point being, if this green space were to be reduced by the amount that it's proposed, that entire area would be without sufficient playgrounds. And I'll define terms too. Playground, it not necessarily means a jungle gym or a structure for kids to climb on. It means an open outdoor space. So we would be without an open outdoor space or sufficient outdoor space, as said by the city's provision. So as Mary alluded to, the West Hill green space is incredibly important for our community. Community gardens provide a unique opportunity for kids to learn about gardening, food preservation, ecology, and biology in a fun and relaxed environment. The playgrounds are instrumental for their exercise and development, where they build the confidence that carries them through to adulthood. The field and court are central to the green space, allowing for people to play sports, have recreational activities, and connect as a community. And finally, the green space itself is wonderful for mental health, as Mary had mentioned, and it's accessible. You know, for the most part, it's accessible to the more vulnerable members of our population, like seniors and those with disabilities. And those people would be hit hardest if this green space were to be reduced, as they're probably not able to travel to other areas of the city. Opportunities for improvement. So shade is a big one. There's not a lot of shade at this green space, and a lot of people can't be out in the sun for a variety of reasons. Additionally, the playground equipment does get quite hot, especially the slide, and so that can burn unsuspecting kids. Adding in a canopy or structure of some kind to allow some type of shade would be amazing. Additional trees and picnic tables would again help with the shade and increase the welcoming atmosphere of the park, allowing more opportunities for respite. Public portable washrooms would be wonderful. A lockable portable washroom would be amazing. People with kids can't just keep going home if people need to go to the washroom. A pop-up library. Currently there's a box there, but an upgraded pop-up library would be wonderful to allow the community to share books, literature, as well as serve as a notice board. This is something that I've volunteered to take on at my own expense, pending city approval. Upgrade the playground equipment, including a splash pad, so it is currently unsafe and has been for some time, and so it'd be wonderful to get that up to code. A drinking fountain would be great, and the reinstallation of basketball nets at the court would allow for even more use of that space. Additional efforts could also be made to make sure that all members of the community can use it, including walking paths, accessible playground equipment, and better concrete for wheelchair access and drainage, water drainage. These are some pictures of the current, more or less current West Hill green space. You can see the upkeep isn't quite there. The overgrown sandbox, the poorly designed signage, and the worn down court, sorry. The tree is not recent. We used to have a tree with a deck around it for social events, but that was knocked down during a storm, and no thought was really given to an alternative. You'll notice the picture on the bottom right is not actually of our green space. It's of the walking trail down by George Street, the boat launch. So a portable, lockable washroom like that would be wonderful, and there's no good reason why it couldn't be at our green space. So, we're looking to you to take action. Our recommendations are to retain the green space as it exists currently, to update the playground to meet safety standards and to include a shaded area and a splash pad, to move the playground updates to the 2025-26 budget to ensure that they're updated as soon as possible. Retain the multifunctional court and reinstall the basketball nets or any other nets for tennis or pickleball or other sports like that, and provide a structural building report for the former Community Resource Center. Additionally, we, the community, are willing to contribute our efforts to raise funds, as we did in the past, to try and help make this dream a reality. So I think together we can create a positive legacy project for City Council, its electors, West Hill community, and Belleville in general. So with that, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Any questions? Councilor Millette?
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you to our delegation. Thank you very much, Adam and Marion. Very well-crafted comments today. I sat down about a month ago with some representatives of your group over coffee to discuss your concerns, and frankly, as chair of the Green Task Force, I share an awful lot of your concerns. We can always build more housing, but we're not very good at creating more green space, and it's just a natural fact. Now, that said, I'm also cognizant of the fact that we have a crying need for affordable housing, as you mentioned, and I think you share the concern. The vexing challenge for us is to find some common ground, and I'm all for working with your group and everybody here today in seeing that we can make some of that common ground. My question is, in your presentation, you asked for the preservation of the existing green space. Is that all existing green space, you know, this is where, this is
Yeah.
where sometimes we, you know, some people may say, well, okay, a little bit of that area that's now just simply, the city's going in and mowing a lot of that green grass that's off, and I guess that would be the south end of
Yes.
the property. That as well, if there's something that's needed for the housing complex in there, can you just explain, you
What
don't want
we
to see
meant?
anything of that?
I mean, a shoot for the moon, right? So
Yep.
the idea was we preserved it as it is currently,
Yeah.
like so all of it. The reason being is that we've described is that the people do use that entire space. It's not
Yeah.
just the playground. It's
Yeah.
not just the community gardens. That whole field is served to be a spot for sports. It's, you know, people take their dogs for a walk, have picnics, community events. There's a lot of church events that happen there. So it is a well-used part, and so
Okay.
as the community here, we
Yeah,
want to make
that,
sure
and that was
the
my
entire
question.
thing
I'm
is
not
preserved.
familiar. I
Yeah.
live on the other end of the side of the river, so
sure.
I'm not up there often. I
Yeah.
don't know how well used that area is. My other question is, and one of the things that we do at the Green Task Force is, part of our purview is the community garden boxes as well. And I've said previously in council, if we could, we would probably have double the number we have now, just because of the popularity of them. And as Mary mentioned, I mean, it's a great way to create or to grow your own produce, and especially in these times. In your experience there, because we get reports on certain ones around town, is it well used? Are they all well used and maintained? They are. I'm seeing.
Yeah,
I'm
they
seeing
are.
good nods from the back.
Yeah, they are.
Okay,
They are.
good.
And people share their produce too,
Yeah.
like,
And I mean, that's one of the
you know,
benefits of that
somebody's
program.
picking their cucumbers and they've got too many, and there might be kids and they're playing in the park with their moms, and, you know, do you want some cucumbers?
Yeah.
I just got a bag of tomatoes yesterday from a lady
See?
that had her plot. Ours had run out of tomatoes, and she was offering them to
Yeah.
us and the other couple that was playing on the playground. So
Yeah, and that's one of the remarkable benefits of that, so hopefully we can expand that. All right, hopefully, and I'm supportive of what you're doing here today. I'm also supportive of the plans that we do need somehow to find a compromise. So
Yep.
thank you very much, and hopefully we can reach some common ground.
Councilor
Cheers.
Carr?
Thank you, Mayor Ellis. Thank you for your presentation. The rules dictate that I have to ask you questions. We can't really have a dialogue, but there was mention about the library.
Yes.
The library operates separate from the city. I chair the library board, so if you'd like to reach out with me directly, we can have a
that's how
separate
we would work
conversation.
for the
Yes,
pop-up. Perfect,
yes.
absolutely.
So just two questions here is how, you've got a little bit of a collective group, which is great to see. Did you participate in the master plan exercise for parks and open spaces and provide feedback as part of that process?
I did not.
I did not either.
Okay.
We
So-
were living in Belleville at the time.
Yeah, and we didn't know it was happening.
Okay. I would encourage you to take a look at the master plan because it does take into consideration the needs across the city. The last slide that was up very quickly before the thank you, that you had 6 points on there.
Oh, I guess it's-
And one of the points was housing affordability. No,
No.
it was there. It was, so it was going to be housing affordability, I think.
No.
Retaining existing.
Yeah.
Earlier on in your presentation, though, you talked about the balance between
Yes.
affordable housing and the need for green
Yes.
space. Do you see your organization as having the ability to come together with some solution where we can achieve both? Because we obviously have a need. The biggest issue that the city runs into is privately owned property doesn't get turned into affordable housing, so government-owned land is the best.
Fair enough.
Do you see your organization being able to come to the table to assist in terms of preservation, but also at the same time meeting the needs of affordable housing right in your neighborhood?
Yeah, absolutely. The plan, sorry, Mary. you
Go
can-
ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can, you know,
Yeah.
achieving a balance
Yeah.
that meets the housing needs, but also meets these other needs that I talked about and that Adam has talked
Mm-hmm.
about. I think it's possible.
Okay, and yes, and I'm not dismissing that, but that's great to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you
No,
very
yeah,
much.
That common goal was to have that kind of interaction, that conversation about how we can best do it. The reason why I say preserve the existing, all of it, you know, is because that would be ideal for our community. But we're happy
Thank you.
to-
Okay, seeing no more questions, I need a motion to receive the deputation. Councilor Chatton, Councilor Enright Miller, all in favor? Thank you. Thank you for the great presentation. Well done. Okay, I need a motion to go into committee of the whole. The council rise and go into committee of the whole to hear consideration reports, passing recommendations and resolutions with Councilor Enright Miller in the chair. Moved by Councilor Brown, seconded by Councilor Chatton. All in favor? Carried. Councilor Enright Miller, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. 8A reports. The agenda shall include, under reports, items that warrant individual attention from council. 8A1, Building Faster Fund Update. Resolution reads that the 2024 capital budget item number 1.001 for Avonlow Sewage Pumping Station and Conveyance System, Phase 1, be amended to increase building fund faster utilization by $413,300 and reduce Asset Management Reserve Fund and Casino Development Reserve Fund utilization by $345,700 and $67,600 respectively. Can I have a motion? Councillor Chatton, seconder. Councillor Millet, any discussion? Councillor Carr.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to the Director of Engineering Development Services. Great that we're allocating some more government funding with respect to this infrastructure project that's going to open up new housing. The provincial government has a housing enabling water system fund, and there was $970 million awarded to 54 projects across 60 municipalities. Could the director tell me if we applied, and if so, were we successful in obtaining any money under that provincial infrastructure program?
Director Ferguson? No? Sorry. Sorry. Director Ashton, I apologize.
Well, no, because the application would have been made by the Director of Finance, so we were tossing the ball a bit.
Sorry.
So I guess the short answer is yes, we did apply. No, we were not successful.
And that's unfortunate to hear, because that certainly would go a long way to offsetting some of the costs. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Any other further discussion? All in favor of the motion? Carried. Thank you. 8A2, 2025 Operating Budget Guidelines. The resolution reads that Council approve the recommendations of the Finance Committee as outlined in the Manager Finance/Deputy Treasurer's Report number DDF/2024/06, and that the 2025 Operating Budget Guidelines be approved. Can I have a motion, please? Mayor, Your Worship, seconder. Councillor Thompson, any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. 8A3, Development Charges Reserve Fund Treasurer's Statement for the year ending December 31st, 2023. And the resolution reads that report number DF/2024/05, Development Charge Reserve Fund Treasurer's Statement for the year ending December 31st, 2023 be received for information. Can I have a motion? Councillor Chatton, seconder. Councillor Thompson, any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. 8B, consent items. Council may adopt consent items by one motion, but prior to consideration of such motion, members may request that specific items be removed from consideration under such motion, and council shall consider such items individually. Just go around the table. Councillor Thompson?
No, thank you.
Councillor Carr?
No, thank you.
Councillor Brown?
No, thank you.
Councillor Chatton?
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Councillor Millet?
No, thank you.
Your worship? Then can I have a motion to approve consent items with no exceptions? Councillor Chatton, seconded by Councillor Carr. All in favor? Thank you. 8C, council information matters. Council may adopt consent items by one motion, but prior to consideration of such motion, members may request that specific items be removed from consideration under such motion, and council shall consider such items individually. Just, there's only one. I will go around. Your worship? I don't have to, sorry. Can I have a motion to approve the one item? Councillor Chatton, Your worship, all in favor? Thank you. Can I have a motion to rise and report?
You are official.
Oh. Councillor Millet, seconder Councillor Carr, all in favor? Thank you.
The grass does not grow under your face, Councilor Enright Miller, so. Okay, the first bylaw, 24-156, pardon me, 2024-157's been pulled. So, first reading of 2024-156, there's only one bylaw, moved by Councillor Chatton, seconded by Councillor Millet, all in favor, carried. Reading of bylaw 24-156, moved by Councillor Chatton, Councillor Millet. Discussion? All in favor? Carried. And third reading of bylaw 24-156, moved by Councillor Carr, Councillor Enright Miller. All in favor? Carried. New business. Motions. Notice of motions. And we're on announcements. Any announcements? Councillor Kelly? Oh, sorry, he's not here. Any announcements? Nope, okay, we got some proclamations. I want to note that August 31st is International Overdose Awareness Day. September is Arthritis Awareness Month. September is Death Awareness Month. September 17th, 23rd is Deaf People Awareness Week. September 23rd as International Day of Sign Language. And September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. And September 4th, polycystic kidney disease. Polycystic, I got it. Okay, those are the announcements and proclamations. I need a confirmatory bylaw, the bylaw number 2024-158, a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held on August 26, 24, be read a first, second, third time, and finally pass this 26th day of August 24. Moved by Councillor Chatton, seconded by Councillor Enright Miller. All in favor, carried. I'm just waiting for adjournment, a couple of minutes. I need a motion to adjourn. Councillor Carr, Councillor Brown, all in favor, carried. Thanks, staff. Thank everybody.